Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Dumbbell Diaries, where personal growth and professional development will meet real life reps. So I'm your host, Martin from Set the Pace Health and Fitness. And in each episode, I'm going to be talking to a person who is absolutely smashing their own health and well-being journey, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And I'm really pleased to be joined tonight with Henry Beercock. So hello, Henry.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for having me.
All right, no problem. And what we're going to be doing is diving into his amazing transformative journey that he's been on the past few years and dive into some of the secrets behind his success and some strategies that you can all apply to your own health and well-being journeys to hopefully get the same levels of success as Henry here. So I've been following your journey for the past few months now, and in that short time frame, you've achieved so much already. But for people who don't maybe know anything about you and where you've come from so far, let's go back to the beginning. Let's rewind. Tell me a little bit more about your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we do, I've got some beers here. I'm thinking, alcohol-free beers, sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking we can maybe crack those open first. And the good thing is as well, for your big beefy arms, they've got protein in as well. So it's actually a company I saw online. As to my knowledge, they're the only ones I'm aware of that actually have alcohol-free beer with protein.
Right.
So the vegan as well. So obviously appeals to me. But it's just finding that sort of mixing alcohol-free lifestyle with actually giving a drink with a purpose as opposed to just wasted calories.
Yeah, no.
So let's give it a go, shall we?
One open. I remember seeing about this one April Fool's years ago where someone made a protein beer, and thankfully they've done it. So let's give it a go.
So let's cheers, mate.
Cheers. No, that is actually quite nice.
It's almost got like a
for 10 grams of protein.
It's all right.
That is actually.
It's quite fruit. It's a bit fruity or something. It's got like a funny, I wouldn't say a funny aftertaste, but there's something to it, isn't there?
Now I've crushed the can here a little bit, but
of course you have.
But that is that's bloody nice
for 10 grams of protein. Because I was listening to it, they were saying about like if you wanted a grenade bar or something, you spend it. What is it, like 300 odd calories for one of those bars?
Yeah.
Whereas this is 73 calories. You're getting 10 grams and you're getting a refreshing drink as well. So I think it's nice.
I'm genuinely impressed with that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nice. Anyway, back to the pod.
Yes, yeah. Talk about beer all night.
I know I could.
So tell me about your journey. Where did it all start?
So okay, I'll briefly run through it. So basically, I was in a career for 17 years. It was a family business, a local business, and I loved it. I really saw the rest of my life there. Whereas, you have your good days, your bad days, etc. However, I just knew something was itching away. It just wasn't sort of the right path. I just didn't feel like it sort of fit my purpose and whatever. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities it gave me and the lifestyle it gave me as well. But I just wasn't happy. So I decided to leave. I had nothing in place. But I had a lot of people asking me, well, what are you going to do? What you doing? Because as I said, I didn't want to jump from career to another career. I want time to really think about it. And I'm still thinking about it. So I decided to go away. I took myself away for 4 weeks and I went to Thailand and I went to like a fitness retreat, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So was that with a purpose of escaping, getting back to your roots, so to speak, or was it a weight loss?
It was. So I didn't go to like a proper boot camp, get down, give me 20. I wouldn't have liked that. I know the type of person I am. And if it was like that, and if it was too hardcore, I would have left.
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of like I want to say more of a holistic retreat, but it was right on the strip. So, there was people drinking there. There was all sorts going on. So that kind of taught me a bit of discipline as well at the same time. Yeah. But it was really for weight loss and I guess just a bit of just a chill out, and kind of try and figure out what it is that I want to do really. And it was nice to go there as my own person on my own, because normally when you go on holidays you're trying to accommodate someone else. You're going, where do you want to go tonight? What do you want to do? Whereas this was just all me. I've never spent this much time on my own ever. So these people you're meeting, they're meeting you for you, not because of your name, not because of who they think you are. They just see you as you, and I've never really had that.
I imagine particularly because of your family business as well. Your name comes
No, exactly.
Before.
So no, definitely. And people have, preconceived ideas of what type of person I would be prior to meeting me. So I definitely have had to battle that in the past. So really, to go there and be my own person, and it helped that I managed in 4 weeks. I managed to shift, I think, 21 pounds. It was.
Wow.
Yeah. So hey, look, it was a start.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I want to say it was hard work, but it was. You can sort of take it as hard or as easy as you want to. And I just thought, well, I've paid for it. I'm out here.
Yeah.
And I also
Make the most of it.
I felt like I had a point to prove as well. I had some people, some mates of mine were just like, and I overheard them. They're like, "Is he really going to do it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he's got it in him?" And I was within earshot, and I was like, "Let me show you.
Yeah, let me prove a point."
Yeah, and well, here we are.
And what happened then whilst you're in this retreat? Then, because the only thing I can, my thought process goes to kind of a Buddhist monk kind of retreat where you literally just you pray, you meditate. What was it? Was it nutritionally led, exercise led?
Yeah, so honestly, it was really basic, and I mean really basic. So it wasn't up, as I said, it was on the strip. You were literally flashing lights, you could hear the music, everything. So everything was like kind of, if you wanted it, you can go have it. And when I turned up, people were smoking, drinking on the balconies. I was like, wait a second, I thought this was a retreat. I was like, is this allowed? They were like, we're not in prison, mate. Like, we're all adults. You get what you put out of it, sort of thing. So to give you an idea of how it would work, in the morning, you would wake up at 6 a.m., go for a hike, or you might go for a bike ride. You come back, you have your breakfast. Again, it's a fully plant-based diet. And so that kind of introduced me to plant-based living as well, which was, well, I have to say, it was amazing. The food there was incredible. I'm proper plugging this, so hopefully they see this. So you have your breakfast, and then you would do yoga. But again, everything was optional. I tried to do yoga. I tried my best, but at the time I was a lot bigger. I wasn't very flexible. I'm still not. However, I was doing yoga, and then you would chill out, then have your lunch, and then 4 or 5 p.m. you would do like a class circuit. And that was it. That was it. And then you could go for a walk if you wanted. You could borrow the bikes. I went to like a shooting range, or you could just go to the beach.
You had your own free time then?
Honestly, meal times were yours. Everything was yours. And you didn't have to turn up to class. And there was people that were just working remotely that would turn up to the odd class here or there. And you can imagine they didn't get the best results, but they might have lost a few pounds, and maybe they were happy with that. I was there fully focused on making the change, and I feel I did that.
So did they teach you anything whilst you were there as well, kind of to do with mindset and behaviors? I mean, I imagine when you go to a retreat, it's, without taking anything away from it, it's a little bit easier when you're there. How did you find taking away some of the stuff you learned and applying it into real life situations?
There wasn't too much really. Again, the main thing it taught me was discipline. Because if it was up in the hills and I didn't have everything at my fingertips, then it would be harder to sort of emulate that back home, because everything's available on Amazon or online shopping. You can order it and it'd be there the next day. So whereas here, it was kind of like, what it taught me was if I can survive here, when I'll be honest, again, we're talking
everything's around you.
It's Koh Samui, Thailand. I mean, I'm not saying it's my necessary cup of tea, but it's the sort of the lady boy kind of, I can't remember what the strip's called, but there's
like a party scene.
There's just, it's just booming music. There's everything you could want with regards to 7-Elevens. There's restaurants. If I wanted to go pig out, I could do. Whereas, so it just taught me to be strict with myself.
And in terms of obviously the learning, the applying in real life, looking back at it, what do you think was the most valuable thing you can take? Apart from obviously the discipline, as in, is there a tool? Is there a tip?
Taking time to slow down. I did some breath work and some ice baths. Admittedly, I don't do that as much anymore. But what it taught me was just to sometimes, it's okay just to be still and just think your own thoughts and sit with your thoughts. And having gone sober, that's something, again, just sitting with your thoughts and being okay with it, and whatever you feel, letting that pass. Because again, it's just a feeling. You can choose to let it upset. You can choose to let it make you angry, but that feeling will come through and pass. So it's how you decide to react to it. And no one sat there and taught us this. It was just, again, being away from all of the mod cons.
The noise.
All the noise, really. Being away from all of that, all the stuff we've become so used to having, again, at our fingertips. So just taking it back to basics. It was nice, because I just felt like I could just be me.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't have to be a brother, I didn't have to be an uncle, I didn't have to be a husband. I was just my own person, as long as I was checking in and letting people know I was
Yeah.
safe. But really, I had an opportunity to finally be me for once, and I never really had that.
But he thrived in it as well.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was nice, meeting people, and I had some really nice connections with people. And turns out, when we got talking, we were sharing very much the same journey, the same path, and that's a lot of things. Like, it just helped me think deeper without going too zen with it and kumbaya and all of that. It was more, I just. I kind of got more in touch with my own thoughts and
Yourself.
my own feelings, but
Yeah.
also listening to people and sort of not taking everything at face value and thinking a bit deeper about certain reactions and what, being a bit more aware really of feelings and emotions. And
Yeah.
again, because I got away from the noise, and I think you're quite right. I think sometimes, I appreciate not everyone can take themselves away for 4 weeks. They've got
Yeah.
families, they've got this, however, it was the best decision I ever made.
But even if someone just took away that idea of taking you away from the noise, that breath work,
Yeah.
to having some quiet time, letting yourself be at peace with your thoughts, that's something obviously I promote within my client base, is that we have so much going on in our lives. Everything's 365, 24/7, technology, exercise, diet. It's in our ears all the time. Like, well, just take a moment, take a step back, appreciate what you've got, think of how far you've come. And sometimes just doing that alone is enough to think, you know what? I'm doing the right things here.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I've got a family around me. Yes, I might want to lose weight, or yes, I might want to get fitter, get healthier, whatever. But at the same time, we don't take that time to think. I don't think too much.
No, and I think that's why meditation and breath work is such a great tool.
Yeah.
Something, again, I'm talking about it now, I don't do enough of,
Yeah.
and I really should. However, again, one thing I didn't mention, and I haven't mentioned much when I've been speaking to people, just kind of because I forget. But one thing I did do on the start of this journey was I had hypnotherapy.
Right. Okay.
And something, again,
so that fascinates me. That,
to be honest, me too, because it's not like, you're back in the room and you're sort of you're proper in a yeah. But no, it's a hen. So actually, it was, before I went away, and you can have a few sessions, and you put your headphones on, and they say this thing. They give you like a scenario. Picture yourself in 30 years. Where do you want to be? Blah blah blah. Picture yourself being fit and healthy, and how good you feel. So like, you're getting all of this, and you're hearing it's meant to tap into your subconscious. Anyway, so you have a few sessions there, then you get given an audio track, and you listen to that every single night. Well, I listened to it religiously, honestly, from that point of having it all the way through Thailand, all the way to, till a few months ago, really. And I still go back to it, and that's my meditation.
all right.
And I don't know, it could be placebo, it could not. But as far as I'm concerned, when people ask, what have I done? Well, fitness, meditation, that's a form of it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to that for months, well, years, really. I couldn't tell you what it says.
Yeah.
I can't recite it, because I am literally switching off, and it is speaking to my subconscious, and it's basically just saying it's about portion control. Like, don't eat too much, blah, blah, blah. Again, don't know how much truth there is in it. However, it's one of those, seems to be working. Well, I don't want to stop.
Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, obviously, in this industry, there is no one size fits all. It's finding that tool, that method, a strategy that works for you. And going on to that, then, you mentioned in your chat there that you turned throughout the retreat to vegan. So tell me a little about that. Is that something that you went consciously to do, or was it just a part of the process?
No, so again, so what happened is, before the retreat, they send you out like some directions of what things you need to do and stuff, and it says 2 weeks prior, we want you to start trying a vegetarian vegan diet, just so your body gets used to it for when you come out. And these, bear in mind, this is just the meals you have. It's not a structured meal time. You can eat whatever you want.
So you could follow a normal.
Yeah. So you could basically, if I could say, you know what, I don't want breakfast here, I'm going to go down the road.
Okay.
I got like a bacon and chicken wrap or whatever. Like, there were certain things you can have. However, I thought, again, this is their thing. I'm going to listen to it, see how it works. And what I felt was, I just felt a lot less bloated, and I felt like I was carrying less. It might be because of the dairy, it might be because whatever, but I just felt like I had less puffy give a word really. And so you do it 2 weeks prior. You go there. As I said, you got the freedom to eat what you want. But my wife came out to meet me afterwards, and she knew I was sort of dabbling with the vegan food. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I was really excited to have a steak and have a pizza. Well, like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like that was then. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to eat properly now.
Yeah.
But she'd, I think it was either, she'd been on the balcony. We had this really beautiful, because I was excited to see her. Obviously, 4 weeks, I've never had that much time away from her. We had this beautiful balcony, and it had like a bath on it. And so she had a little iPad there. She was sat watching it. She comes in, she goes, "Yeah, I'm thinking of going vegetarian." I was like, "Why?" She went, "Oh, I've just finished watching the new Chicken Run."
Right.
I was like, "Right." And she went, "Yeah, it's Dawn of the Nugget." And I've since watched it. I won't lie, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I'll support you. We'll cook veggie when we're at home." But I still wouldn't mind eating meat and having whatever burgers, pizzas, you name it. Because I just felt like I couldn't do without.
Yeah.
Because again, I just didn't quite understand the whole vegan diet. And then whilst we were out, although she was going vegetarian, like it was, with vegetarians still eat fish, or
Yeah.
like
Pescatarian.
pesca or flex or whatever. Again, I don't dabble in that sort of side of it, but she was picking this big crab out of one of the I want to say cage, what they're called, just a tank.
Tank.
Yeah. Well, kind of. Anyway, she was picking this huge one, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll have that one." I was like, "Oh, that doesn't sit right with me." I went, "I don't get it. I mean, that's living." Like, she was, "Yeah, but it's kind of like it's seafood. It doesn't really matter." And I'm like, "Okay." And again, I was trying to understand it. I wasn't dismissing her views or anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, then it was a matter of, okay, yeah, that didn't quite feel right. And then we'd watched a few more things. I'd looked into it because I'm like, look, if I'm committing, and again, I started feeling really good on it.
Yeah.
And I felt lean. I felt strong. I just felt again, less bloated. So we both just did it together.
Right.
And from then on, I think that was February 2024. And then I haven't touched I've touched a few things by accident, but I haven't actually gone intentionally and wavered from it. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I dabbled with being vegan for the start of this year, January to February. But mine was my son's dairy intolerant, and it was more a case of kind of supporting him.
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot of milk and eat a lot of yogurt. So I cut that out completely just to support him. And I found, I've got to be honest, the same feeling. I felt less bloated. I felt lighter. I felt more energetic. Like, obviously from a nutritional background, I had no extra calories, if anything less, but I felt better.
Yeah.
So we still eat meat. We eat chicken and meat, but we didn't have any dairy.
Okay.
And I felt fantastic. And I actually carried on until I think it was about April time.
Wow.
Changed all my protein powders, changed all my snacks that were cheese or dairy based, and I did feel better. I've reintroduced it.
Okay.
And to be fair,
just out of interest, why?
Basically, it comes down to cost. The cost of vegan protein powder was a little bit more pricey than protein powder that I could get elsewhere, and it was just a little bit more affordable. But I still now don't have milk. I've kept it with no milk and no cheese. The only dairy I have is through the form of protein powder.
Okay.
And I've still had no adverse
I think one of our first conversations was about protein powder.
Yeah.
You posted it on LinkedIn, and it was like just a debate.
Yeah.
Because that obviously must have been the time, January, February.
Yeah.
And you were talking about sort of getting, your protein from it and stuff. And I mean, I use a protein powder called Form, and as you can see here, you get great plant proteins and stuff. And but yeah, I feel cost wise, I think. Yes, for that product, it might seem a bit more pricey, but then you think of the savings that you're getting from, well, at least meat, you're still eating meat, so you're still paying a premium for that. Yeah. Whereas I'm making so many of the savings elsewhere, I don't mind paying a little bit more for that. And I guess once you're sort of in it without being too preachy and whatever, we don't mind paying a little bit more. That doesn't obviously add to murder.
Yeah.
Without, again, it's... Yeah. I'm not here going, fuck you, you eat meat or whatever, but it's more, that's my choice and my morals, and so I don't mind paying extra just for those morals being checked. Really.
And I think, like, obviously, I deal with a lot of clients who do dabble with a bit of veganism, and one of the things I often say to people is, I will never try and push you onto a particular diet. I don't think that's the right strategy for anyone. But if you have a belief in something, stick to it.
Yeah.
I'll support you in the way I feel I can. I will tell you the pros and cons of doing that, because obviously there are cons with every diet. But yeah, hearing someone's experience of going from a meat eating diet to veganism, and obviously your physique's changed a lot in that time as well. Is there any other dietary change you made since the retreat? Then obviously you changed to vegan diet. Anything else?
Yeah, I would say just quitting the booze. Like quitting the booze was again, it's so difficult, right? I want to pinpoint every single thing that I've done.
Yeah.
So obviously, hypnotherapy, obviously quitting meat and dairy and stuff, but quitting booze.
Yeah.
And it's not what people fail to remember is they go, oh yeah, the wasted calories in a beer. Oh yeah, it's like, that's great. It might be, you might spend 450 in calories for a load of pints, but it's what comes after.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone fails to remember. And it's the, not just the night of, it's the day after, it's the few days after. If I'm feeling a bit sluggish, and I could cane in my whole allowance on a lunch break. That is honestly that's the point where I got to. If I had a bad weekend and I was working Monday or Tuesday on my lunch break, I could smash in 2,500 calories
from alcohol.
It just from eating, let's say a Greg's or a Coupland. Sorry. So it would be like, because I kind of needed it. I felt a bit down in the dumps,
Yes.
I hadn't slept well or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'm not going to go to the gym tomorrow. So what's it matter? It's that sort of the fuck it sort of button. Yeah, exactly.
It's weird you say that, because I had a conversation with a client literally this morning about that. And it was about the alcohol and the content. And their question was, is alcohol so bad for you because of the calories?
Yeah.
And I mean, I can talk about this kind of stuff all day, but it was the fact.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Yes, the calories matter. At the end of the day, calories are king when it comes to the way you look. But it's understanding the way it affects you mentally, physically. It affects your business. It affects your performance.
Yeah.
And people, like you say, don't recognize that. They just see it as, well, I've had 5 pints, that's 1,000 calories. Well, I'll just eat 1,000 calories less food. Well, no, because you're going to sleep worse. You're going to have less energy. You're going to be less productive at work. You're going to be moodier. You're not going to be as happy. You're going to make worse choices. There's so many adverse effects to drinking alcohol other than just the calories. So when you made that choice then to go sober, how did your family and friends take it?
So the good news was my older brother, he was already sober, and we all saw him completely change in a great way, So again, I never set out to be sober. I just went to this retreat and I thought, okay, well, I don't need it. I'm not having it, because I didn't think it was allowed. Yeah. So I'd already sort of worked.
Told yourself you could have it.
I was like, well, we can't have it anyway. And then when I saw people doing it, I'm like, but I told myself I wouldn't have it. Yeah. So that was 4 weeks. And then when my wife came out, as I said, we were out there for just under 2 weeks. I think it was like 12 days. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to touch it, because I'd already started. I know people say, I don't like looking at the numbers, whatever, but I started clocking how many days it was, and I was super proud of it. I was like, when I was meeting people at retreat, I was like, I've been sober 65 days. I think of it now, and I think, kind of rookie numbers to my own experience, because of how far I've gone now. But I was so proud of it then. So it was like that accountability. I just didn't want that number to go back to zero again. And then I, again, started feeling really good. So when it came to my family, there was an element of, never again. What? Like, it was that kind of, well, I won't lie. There's, I wouldn't say any family member in particular, but there was always that element of, well, kind of don't bother coming then if you're going to be sober.
If you're not going to drink.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to be sober, don't worry about it. We'll do something else. And there was always that kind of thing, like, not necessarily with family, but with other people, my other, I would say, associates, drinking buddies and stuff. Some that I've reconnected with, some that unfortunately I've lost touch with. So family and friends, it was a mixed bag. And but again, if I carried on being in the same situations, I would get the same outcomes. And where I fell short before, because this isn't the first time I've tried making a change with my diet, with my lifestyle, etc. And where I would fall short is booze, because I would always go, okay, well, I've lost a load of weight. I'll have a few beers, introduce that, then the takeaways come in, etc. So just taking myself out of that sort of Friday, Saturday, after work booze sesh, that kind of just it meant I lost people. But I couldn't hang out with those people because I would just fall into that trap again.
And
That's how I feel. But if it was a matter of, okay, well, I don't drink, so why don't we, go and do something else?
yeah,
Let's go train together. Let's go hiking, or let's go for a walk. Let's do an activity. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be evolving around booze, because my concern is with friends and family. A lot of time is, to them, a lot of the funny memories that they have of me is
when you're drunk.
whilst I'm drunk.
Yeah,
So when we're reminiscing and we're talking and whatever, I'm a bit like, that's not me anymore.
yeah.
So it's a strange one.
Do you find that looking back, like you said, the memories that you don't feel that was you, that was like a different Henry?
Yeah.
And this is the Henry that you
Yeah,
want to
definitely.
be, the normal Henry.
100%. And, because I was just trying to please people. I was just trying to put on an act, it was just a mask, really.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when my ex-partners or even my current partner, they're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you acting like that? Why are you doing this? And I would be like, get off my back. I'm having fun. I used to think I was just a good, fun drunk. I was always nice to people, whenever. But really, I would say I was annoying. I cared too much. I tried too hard, to the point where it's quite
people.
needy. And and I would just say, I didn't realize at the time, I was oblivious to it, because all I wanted people was to like me. So I would just be overly familiar and whatever. And I can imagine it would get a bit annoying if I was sober me now and drunk me walked into the door and started doing the things that I used to do, started doing dances or come up to me and, hey, like whatever I used to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, kid, like you've had a bit much, like get out my
Yeah.
face. So that was a realization of, well, if I don't like drunk me, why am I hanging out with him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how have you found it since going sober then? Have you had any kind of situations where he's tested you, challenged you to be tempted to go have a drink?
No, I'm really lucky. And I don't know, again, this isn't the first time I've tried. I've done the dry Jan or whatever, but I never saw what my drinking was. I never saw it as a problem, so I never felt like I had to stop.
Yeah.
I thought, I've done dry Jan, I've tested myself. And the first thing I would always find with dry Jan or sober October or whatever you want to call it, there's so many of them now, is what you're focusing so much on is your first drink back. It's like, so literally get to the 31st
punishment to enjoy one drink.
Yeah, so it's like, right, I've raised money, because I would raise money for like cancer research, whatever, because that was the associated partner at the time. And people would donate, and they'd donate a fair bit, because it's like, bloody hell, Henry's not drinking for a month. Jesus, yeah, I'll donate to that. So then I remember, clock strikes 12, boom, downing a pint, because I was not thinking about the journey. I was just thinking about the final destination, and that being a pint at the end of it, because I punished myself for 31 days. So really, I never felt the benefits. I never really gave myself time to really, think about, okay, well, I feel better. Because again, I remember thinking, I ain't lost any weight. What's going on? Because again, it's not enough. It's not enough time to really feel the benefits. And that's something I love dry Jan, and I love that it's a sort of a stepping stone into, for people to sort of dip the toe in and see if they like it. But what I don't like is the time scale it puts on. I don't think 31 days is enough time. I think really to feel the benefits, it should be really 90 days before you can go, okay, I've tried it, I don't like this.
I appreciate the impact it's having on my life.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is something that I admit, I still drink. I do drink. I like a drink, and I always have done from my uni days and rugby days. But without realizing, it wasn't until I first started talking to you that I naturally, without purposely doing it, have dry months of the year. And we've spoken about this before, I typically only drink now for, if you like, an occasion. I'm not one of these people that would sit on after a day work, crack open a beer, or we've got for a meal, unless it's for an occasion, an anniversary or birthday. I don't drink. I'll have a Diet Coke or
feels
water.
a bit too much.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to. I appreciate some people do, and that's fine. That's them. Everyone should do what they want to do. But I've got now a number of friends and clients who have now started to utilize the approach that I do, where you just only drink for when you want to, rather than when just out of habit. So to hear someone go from one extreme to the other, it's quite interesting to hear your stories, because like you said, you were quite a big drinker before your life and soul of the party. Have you noticed it's impacted work at all? Like in terms of the performance, because you mentioned there about the way that it makes you feel 2-3 days afterwards. Now I know the science behind all that and how that works physiologically, but
Yeah.
did you feel a difference at work performance?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think my work's a lot more flexible than what it once was. Before I would basically get given a diary, and it would be from 9 o'clock up until, I don't know, 4:30, 5:30, and I would be basically back to back to back with appointments, and there would be sort of, you'd be in your car, out into clients' houses, back in your car, and whatever. So you would be lucky if you found the lunch break, and sometimes you got a long lunch break. So it's like, let's fill my boots here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm clearing coupons out. You know what I mean? So there would be those periods. So obviously taking away that sort of stress environment, because again, what I did realize when I did go for the hypnotherapy, I am an emotional eater. I'm a stress eater.
Okay.
So when I'm stressed, when I'm emotional, I'll eat, or at least I did until I figured that out. And that's the problem. I think a lot of people do these quick diets, these fads, etc., and they hope, unless you fix up there, you might see some results, but it's only going to come back again. And that's my concern with, unfortunately, I might open up a can of worms, but the likes of your jabs, etc., you're not fixing here, you're not changing your habits.
It's getting a result.
It's getting a result. And, unless you're toning up alongside it and changing your diet, we can go on about that for ages. But I think with regards to how productive I am, etc., I can't begin to tell you how, like, we've just got a puppy, for instance. Me and my wife are now fighting over who gets the early shift. We want to get up early. So it's what, 5:30, but I'm like, no, I want to get up. It's like, because you don't mind. I'm not feeling lousy, I'm not feeling lethargic. I want to get up with him, spend some quality time with him. And also I feel like you're gaining more hours in a day. And so I would never have done that though. Although, I was a big drinker. I didn't drink during the week. It'd be Friday, Saturday.
Just the weekend.
But I wouldn't feel normal until Thursday. And then
top it up again to make you feel better again.
And it's just, honestly, it was a vicious cycle, but it's normal. Ask anyone. Like, it's not a problem in society's eyes. They just think, well, you're just having a couple of nights having some beers, chill out.
Yeah. I think society's view of what alcohol is as well is completely distorted.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally could talk about this for hours, but I was listening to something on the news the other day, and people were saying about how bad alcohol is in terms of the effect it has on your liver, and they were just kind of papering over the crap, saying, "Oh, it's not too bad. Your liver processes it gets out of the system." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you do understand the long-term effects that's going to have on your health in 20, 30 years' time. Just because it's normal in society doesn't mean it's okay."
I mean, a lot of when you're listening to radio hosts or on TV or anything, you've got to think, okay, well, if they start going more, start really thinking about it a bit. Again, I kind of look at two extremes, really. I've obviously quit the booze and I've quit the meat and the dairy and whatever. So if you can imagine how I see the world now to what I used to, it's like, the booze side of it, of course, people, you're putting up a mirror, really, and people don't like it. They don't, out of sight, out of mind. It's like, well, it's not that bad. Like, I don't have much. People feel like they've got to justify it. Like, if I see them, like, I don't drink much. This is a big night for me. I'm like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, unless you want to change and whatever, I'll more than happily help you. But if you still think this is okay and whatever, and you're not willing, I'm not out there telling people, I don't want to tell people to change.
Not there to preach.
No, I basically just want to show what I've been able to do. And if someone sees a little glimpse of, okay, that sounds like where I'm at and what I've been doing, then, I want them to feel comfortable enough to join, my group and join what I'm trying to create in the local area, because I want them to feel they're not alone. Whereas before I was doing it, I didn't really, I don't know, I'll ask you as well. I wasn't really seeing anyone talk about sobriety, not around here.
No, it's something that it was more of an internet thing. You saw people down in London or the bigger cities, but in Hull, it wasn't. Maybe there's more of a drinking culture. Northerners, we like a good pint. Of thing, where it wasn't seen as being cool. I think that's a big step though in society that has positively had an impact. Though it is now seen as better to be healthy. That makes sense. I was talking different contexts, but it's now cool to go to the gym. Rewind 10, 15 years ago, and if you were saying no to a night out because you wanted to go to the gym on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening, you were the geek, you were the uncool one. Whereas now, gym branding, clothing, everyone's wearing gym stuff. They're going to the gym with the mates. They're not going to the sitting on the street
It's a
corner.
social, isn't it now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's been a big step. So I think maybe that kind of has sobriety is piggybacked on the back of that. It's actually pretty cool to be sober.
Yeah. I think it's basically, again, if you can choose to feel like you're the victim, like, oh, no one invites me out anymore, no one does this. It's like, well, find new people. Yeah. And this is what I'm trying to create. It's like, don't feel like you've got to be a victim in this whole world. If anything, you should feel empowered. The fact that you've been able to, a world that's so obsessed with alcohol, and you've been able to go, you know what, actually, I'm good. Thanks. Yeah. Keep your funky juice over there. Because if you invented alcohol, and let's say you had it in a liquid form or whatever, and you just said, by the way, I've come up with this thing. It does this. It dehydrates you. You could lose your house. You could lose your job. You can lose your whatever, and it makes you lethargic. It's bad for your liver. It's bad for this. It's bad for your sleep. Do you want a sip? You're like, absolutely not. Yeah. You would literally say, I don't want anything to do with that. Yeah. Go, well, what are the positives? Okay, it gives you, Dutch courage or whatever.
Self-confidence,
but at what cost? So in a way, it's like, okay, well, that sounds great, all those positives, but what's the catch? Yeah. Okay, well, you are going to feel a bit rubbish tomorrow or whatever. And then, so what people do is they'll see that side of it, go, well, it gives me all those good things, yeah. I'll take the bad things. It's only a couple of days. It. Yeah, and I think, which is fine. Some people can find moderation, and if they know the results and they know, okay, well, that's how they're going to feel the next day, and they're cool with that, go for it. Yeah. But when people, it's this badge of honor, like, oh, I'm never drinking again. Definitely had too many. It's like, yeah, but you always say that. We've all done it. Yeah. And so they know it's bad, but they keep going because, again, it's a societal norm.
Yeah. And you mentioned there about creating this community then.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Obviously, I know about it, but what is it?
Alcohol free. Yeah. So again, clues in the name, really. We're from Hull, and well, at least I am, and it's alcohol free. So basically, it started in Dry Jan, at the end of Dry Jan. So again, going back to what I was saying before, I didn't want people to do Dry Jan, do all this hard work, and just go, all right, see you later. I've done my hard work now. Yeah. So I wanted to try and create, and I did it with someone else locally who's in this sort of wellness and holistic sort of side of it. And we met her for a coffee, and we both sort of said, oh, why don't we do like a special thing for Dry Jam? So we did that, and maybe 15 people turned up. It was a great event for my first event, but I actually planned some other ones, and they never went ahead because I didn't sell any tickets. Right. And so I kind of learned from that. I was like, okay, it needs to be a free event. It needs to be accessible, because it takes a lot of guts for someone to, maybe if they are sober curious, to walk through a door and go, hi, like, I'm here to try and meet new friends, like-minded people. So that was, in January, and I started doing like features where I'd go to local establishments, again in the hospitality sector, and I would showcase their alcohol-free range and stuff, because a lot of hospitality in January really suffered. Yeah. Because again, if people aren't drinking, they're not making money. But I wanted to show, we will still come and support you. We'll still spend our money, but it doesn't have to be on booze.
Yeah, you don't have to sell beer to make money.
So I started highlighting that, and then by doing my own social events, I was doing it at some of these places I'd highlighted as well, so it helped them, and I've already showcased them on my website. I say on my website, on my socials and stuff. And then, so this group then just kept growing. So I would then host another social, and it would just be, have a few drinks and some food. Then it was bowling, then it was this. And now this group is growing to such an extent. It's, so for instance, in the group chat last night, someone celebrated 7 years sober, which is amazing. Brilliant, yeah. And everyone's like, sharing the stories, little tips and whatever. One guy who's so curious, he just said, look, I'm thinking, I slipped up. Not like, he never said, right, I'm sober, guys. We knew he was thinking about it, but he said, I slipped up, I feel a bit rubbish. Is this normal? And then everyone sort of chipped in and sort of gave him a bit of reassurance. And this is what I did. This helped me. This is a book that I read. And this is what I wanted from it. It's amazing, really, because these people, through sobriety, you do lose people. You become a bit isolated. So now they can involve themselves around people where they don't feel like the odd one out.
Yeah.
And
community.
And it's kind of grown into something really special, and it continues to grow. And I was aiming for maybe one social a month, but the demand is too high. So
Right.
really,
Brilliant.
I'm gonna have to maybe, I don't know, do one every couple of weeks or something. I've got potentially got karaoke, sober karaoke. I mean, I'm dreading it. I won't lie, sober karaoke. We've got, but I've got places asking me now.
Yeah.
So basically, the last few ones I've done have been really, really successful. I mean, within numbers wise, let's say anywhere between 15 to 30 people. But this is on like days where these hospitality places went open.
Yeah.
So, they're making all this extra money through a market that they never even considered. Because
Of pushing and promoting. Yeah.
they're pushing and promoting alcohol-free drinks. They're making mocktails. They're making money on these alcohol-free beers. And some of them are a bit like, they didn't quite get it when I used to
Yeah.
approach them. It's like, why would they come to our bar if they're not drinking? And I'm just trying to say, look, you are so used to making your money off booze. Have you considered this 3% or whatever of the market that you haven't tried tapping into? Make them feel more included. Make it a more inclusive space, and we'll come along.
Yeah.
And it just so happens, more and more people are joining. It's great. And honestly, it's what, when I left the business, it's what that purpose is. It's given me, really.
Yeah. Giving you a bit more fire in your belly.
Yeah, definitely. And it feels like I didn't know I was going to continue being sober. I've dabbled in other things since, but this is kind of where I feel, my heart is. However, this is more of a passion project at the moment. I'm doing it for free. I'm helping them. It makes me feel good. However, I have other things in the pipeline that will hopefully turn into a business as and when.
Which I know for a fact.
I'm
excited to hear about.
Yeah.
So if someone is curious then and they're watching this, how would they get involved in alcohol free then?
So we've got a website, so alcoholfree.com. So you can go on there, you can either fill out a form, you can join our Facebook group. We've got a group on Meetup, which is an app. I've never heard of it, but it turns out it's quite popular with these sort of things. Right. So we've got a Meetup group. We've also got a WhatsApp group. That's our most popular, the WhatsApp group. That's where most people are more active. However, that is by request only because, again, you've got to be so careful with people's safety, etc. And you don't want just anyone joining. So that is by request, and then I'll obviously go ahead and add them. But I would strongly suggest if anyone was thinking about it and just wanted to dip the toe in and just see what a sober life can look like, it would be follow our page, follow what I'm doing, follow what the page is doing, and try and join our group because there are a bunch of amazing people, and I'm so proud to say that I've brought them together.
And it genuinely is such a great thing that you're doing for the local area, because I think you're right. There isn't anything else like that in terms of sobriety around this area, and hopefully it'll be the catalyst for more as well.
I hope so. Yeah. No, I do. It's something. I just feel, again, it's that I don't want people thinking that sober people, it's, oh, you're missing out. It's like, no, I think you're gaining so much more because you've got all this time, and you sort of you've got nothing masking your own thoughts either. So everything it's emotional, but it's lovely, it's calm. But you are so in tune with your actual feelings because nothing is in there, getting in the way of it really. So it's really that empowerment of be proud to be sober, and look at, I guess, the things what I've been able to achieve. And I know it's more of a when you look at it as a visual, from the weight I've lost and whatever, that's the sort of the easy sort of, okay, well, this is what I've done, but mentally and physically. And I think booze has been the sort of, I would imagine everything else has stemmed off it. So quitting the booze has helped me lose weight and has helped me do this, whatever. But I do think if you would say to me, okay, all these things you've done, what would be the main thing? I would say booze.
That was exactly going to be the question I was going to ask this. So that was the biggest thing.
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong, the vegan diet, what vegan does is it takes away convenience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, as you quite rightly said, with cost.
Yeah.
But also, it's just not readily available. So if your morals are, if you're doing it for the ethical reasons, for the animals, etc., then you won't sway from it. As I said, I have accidentally, I was on holiday and they had a bean burger and a chicken burger next to each other, and I think that they'd been switched. So anyway, I was eating this burger. I was like, this is really good. I'm like, just like the real thing anyway. And I was like, This is too good.
Yeah, it's too good to be.
This is too good. What's going on? So anyway, this tastes like guilt.
Yeah.
So yes, I think they've been switched, but that's really the only other time it's happened, and that wasn't intentional. But the main thing is, like, when you go to a petrol station, when you go to a bakery or whatever, if they ain't got vegan options, you ain't eating.
Yeah. I think that's. I mean, I've seen it not from a vegan option, but hopefully the nutrition industry is changing. Protein. 5 years ago, not even that, you could walk into a petrol station and there was nothing, no protein at all. You can get a protein bar, you can get a protein shake. The nearest thing you could get would be a sandwich or some form of meat. Now, every single thing's got protein. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of marketing tricks in there that will con people into spending the money on things that isn't actually high protein. But it's nice to see a shift happening in nutrition. And I think you're right that before there wasn't the kind of the vegan options there. And yes, it might be harder compared to normal foods, but it is getting a little bit easier
definitely
to choose.
I think it's more foods. the health sort of side of it. Yeah, you can find like a vegan or a plant-based protein bar or something, but I think it's like even like the naughty stuff. Like for instance, we were at an all-inclusive, and you can imagine the cakes, the ice cream, whatever, and we just walked past it, and I was like, nah.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I can't have it. And it's the same thing with the booze as well. It's like it's not sort of saying I can't have it, I don't want it. But if I've got this switch off, it's like it's not even an option, so I'm not missing out.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like to adjust. A lot of people ask, well, how was the adjustment? How was it? It was super easy.
Yeah,
because I was just like I've got to the point now where I know what alcohol is, and I know what the meat industry and the dairy industry is because I've looked.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I didn't want to look. My head was my head was in the sand, and like I've kind of peeked my head over, and go, nope, I'm good, and that's it. Yeah. But again, unless people are willing to sort of take that step and look further, and some people are very aware of what it is. All you got to do is sit and visualize it and go, okay, well, I kind of got an idea what happens at those places, but. Each to their own at the end of the day. But I just sort of put it aside. I was like, I don't need to think about that. And when it comes to alcohol, I think mainly, again, I feel people are not necessarily there's too much money in it. It is, so they can't, the cat's out the bag now as far as alcohol is concerned. They can't put it back. So there's too much money. It's pushed in every single way. Father's Day, Mother's Day, it's wine o'clock, it's gin o'clock, and everywhere, every marketing, it's booze, booze, booze. They want you to drink. By drinking more, people obviously fall ill, etc. So, and then that funds all the other things, the pharmaceuticals. So if you think about it, really, they kind of want you to be ill, without going to tinfoil hat. But I think when you actually start looking at it, it's like, of course, there's too much money in it, the taxing on it, etc. So it's going to be there. Booze will always be there. It's how do you control your relationship with it, and how do you live amongst it if you do decide to make a change?
I think having that support network that you're offering is going to be a great tool. Now, I do want to ask, what's the next step then? So I've seen recently you are training for, is it the Berlin Marathon? Is that the next kind of challenge for Henry? Is it fitness?
Yeah, I mean, I want to kind of push myself. So since having lost the weight, I did it slowly but surely, really. So I like to have goals, because I think if you've got a goal, then you've got that accountability. Like, for instance, tonight I was meant to go on a 20-minute run, like just a mileage maker, as you call it. But I'll make that up. To be honest, actually, I'm going to do it once we're finished.
Yep.
Honestly, yeah. So I'll do it. It's 20 minutes, all right? But again, I would never have done that before. Now, I hope I've said it now, but I do it. So basically, I started off like doing caps 5K, and then I did a sprint triathlon because I could run okay. I'd just done the 5K. I could bike okay. I couldn't. I'm terrible at swimming. Honestly, these short arms, it was honestly horrendous. It was the worst part of it, but I did it. Yeah. And I was like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So I did that. I did a 10K at South Cave 10K, and then I was like, all right, like I'll try the half marathon,
next?
And then did the half marathon. I was like, you know what, I'll just do a marathon, and I managed to get a place through alcohol change, and so and it's just nice to have something to work towards. I never thought it'd be in running. I really didn't, and so I don't know what's next after that, with regards to what my fitness goals are. I mean, personally, it's very time consuming running.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally,
Particularly when you get to distance training as well, like a marathon, half marathon, you can't just turn up and do a half-hour run. It's not going to make any blind bit of difference to your performance. You've got to be putting in the hours,
exactly,
mileage every single week.
and that's it. And like I'm running 4 or 5 times, a week now,
Yeah.
and it might be 20 minutes here and half a minute there, and it might be sprint sessions, etc. But it's just constantly getting you moving and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's next. And then I don't know if I've got the bug for it. I don't know.
Ironman.
No, I mean, again, we'll remember this conversation. Go, do you remember that time you said you wouldn't do it? Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to ever rule anything out. I've already done charity boxing years ago. I don't want to get punched up. I love watching it, but I don't want to get punched about. So maybe high rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know really. I just kind of want to get back to playing football, and because I enjoyed that. So it's nice to have these goals, but I might just set time goals. So I might do a 10K under certain time or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And do you think if you look back 5 years ago, do you think you'd ever have these goals 5 years ago with the lifestyle you had then?
Nah, mate. No. Oh, just nothing. I didn't have any. I didn't look far ahead.
Yeah.
Literally, it was just okay. Well, what's my day looking like tomorrow? I didn't really have anything. It sounds a bit sad, but I didn't really have anything to look forward to.
The weekend.
I remember I would spend so much money on like hotels and getaways and stuff. I would literally want the nicest room, and I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it properly.
Yeah.
But I look at it now and just go, again, it's all this means to escape. It's like, because you're not happy with what you got over here, you're trying to make up for it elsewhere. And a lot of those escapes and those getaways would be booze, booze centric, if you will. So, I didn't have any goals, never, because I remember I would always tell myself, okay, it's summer coming up or it's someone's wedding coming up. Yeah, we've got time to lose this weight for then. I'd always sort of internally go, right, come on, we're going to do it for this.
Yeah.
And then it would get to a certain point now. But okay, well, we'll do it. We'll do it for that.
Again, yeah.
I mean, you'll get it all the time. Yeah. You'll get your clients saying, I want to lose weight for Thingy's wedding, or I want to do this. I want to get into this dress size. Once they, again, press that fuck it button a couple of times or a few times, then unfortunately it's a bit like, oh, that's gone now.
Yeah, we'll start again next year.
Yeah. So that my thing was the goal was always to lose weight, but I used to always fall short.
Because you mentioned that before in our conversation, you've shown me text messages that you sent to your old PT, saying, and it always boiled down to the booze, didn't it? It was always, how do you feel Monday? Oh, I don't feel too great today. I'm going to have to cancel today's session.
And I
tried and failed.
I knew it at the time. I was like, drank again, but not like because I was trying to stop boozing, but I knew what would happen afterwards. I was like, I had a really heavy weekend, mate. I need your help, blah, blah. But again, as we already mentioned before in our other chat, you can't do it for anyone else other than yourself. Yeah. So, I'm like, my PT did not care. Not to the point where he didn't care. It's like, all these excuses, you will only do it when you're ready. I'm not going to badger you, mate. So if, come back to me with no excuses, come back to me when you're ready. And when is that time? Well, it wasn't with them, unfortunately, because again, things move on. But all these excuses, again, you'll see it time and time again. Yeah. I knew I was talking a load of shit, and because, I look at it now and I just think, who was that person?
Yeah.
It's scary.
Lying through the teeth.
Yeah, and I'd always like to think I'm an honest person, but when it boils down to that, your insecurities, you couldn't just say, you know what, mate, I'm just really not feeling up for it. That's another thing. What being sober taught me is just to say no to things.
Yeah,
you don't have to go along with everything. You don't have to have an excuse for why you can't come to something. Yeah. You can just say, don't fancy it. I'm good.
It's one of the most powerful words you can ever learn. No.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people feel so guilty saying it, don't they?
It's a full sentence at the end of the day. It's just no. Yeah. And I think some people are afraid to let people down. And that was me as well. I'd go to anything. I'd go to weddings I didn't necessarily want to go to. I'd go to all sorts because I just didn't want to miss out. Whereas now I'm not missing out on anything.
Yeah, because if you don't want to go, then you just say no. It's something I teach to clients straight away from the early days when I work with them is just learn to say no. If you want to do it, fine, brilliant. Yeah. Go ahead and do it. You do you. But if you don't do it to please someone else. Say no. Be willing to say no. Be strong-minded.
Yeah.
So anyway, I could literally talk to
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this
yeah.
kind of thing for hours. So I think there's a lot of valuable takeaways there that people will be able to take away and hopefully apply to their journeys as well. But just to remind people, if they want to get in touch with you for alcohol,
So alcohol, so it's on Instagram as alcohol free underscore, I think it is. But my personal page where I share a lot of my journey, if that be weight loss, sobriety. I talk a little bit about veganism on there, etc. But I don't want to niche myself too much.
yeah,
But really, it's just sort of highlighting a sober life and the things that come along with it. And I go by Zen Hen on Instagram and TikTok. You'll also find me on LinkedIn for any of the more serious people. But yeah, I mean that's really where you'll find me, and then all of the events and stuff I'll cross post across all platforms, so you shouldn't ever miss it. But yeah, if you're keen on sort of dipping your toe in and want to give it a go, then hopefully I'm your man.
brilliant. No, thank you very much for joining me on the first ever Dumbbell Diaries.
Cheers,
Speak
thank
to
you.
soon.
Nice one.